ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Score Science. My name is Luke, and this is the post-match reaction for Everton versus Bournemouth. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. Right, now then, coming into this game, I'll be honest, I was a little bit, well, I can't say a little bit, I was extremely concerned. This is one of those sorts of games where, we know this from Luton. We know this from Luton. A team comes in to Goodison, they've not racked up a win at all for a season or for a long period of time, and normally they come to Goodison and we are like the charity that we are. We basically give them the metaphorical money and say to them, here you go guys, have a win on us. This was not the case today. It was not the case. Now, starting lineup, it was meant to be Idrissa Gueye as the number 6 in the midfield, but he picked up either it was an illness or an injury just before the training session even began, and was withdrawn from the squad. So Onana came in his stead. And to be honest, I think that was actually probably the better option of the two for that day. Just for the fact that Onana played absolutely phenomenal that day. He did really well as number 6, and he did his role to perfection. He held up the play. He distributed. He disrupted Bournemouth when they were attacking. He did everything perfect. And I believe he was also one of the key points in the transition of play for the third goal. So we'll talk about that when we get to that. But first part of it, so first 15 minutes, we were dominant from start. We were the dominant presence from start. And a lot of the Bournemouth fans have actually made that quite apparent as well. I've seen a couple of the videos from the post-match, and they are not all that best pleased with their results. They felt like they could have played a lot better, and unfortunately they didn't. But we played absolutely phenomenal, Everton did. So first 15 minutes, it was pretty much a situation of we press them as much as we can, and a mistake from the Bournemouth defender led to the first goal from James Garner. So pretty much what happened is one of the Bournemouth defenders was trying to bring the ball out from the back, trying to bring it to the midfield, slipped, quite literally, and James Garner got straight onto it, moved forward, and scored. Nice, easy goal for him, and one that I think he'll be pretty happy with. And as the game progressed, it was pretty much more of the same. We were trying to capitalise on mistakes. We just weren't able to get that extra goal just before half-time, no? I'm actually gutted about this. I went to the concession area. Now, here's a quick one. I wasn't in my usual seat. I actually passed me a normal ticket on to my mum. She wanted to go to the game with my granddad, so I was in the lower Bullens. Someone actually provided me with a ticket. Big thank you to them. And you know what? In the lower Bullens, although you've got a little bit of an obstructive view, it was a cracking little area to be in. It's one of the older parts of the stadium, and you can tell from the floor and the seats and everything. But my God, when we score, you feel that atmosphere. You feel everything shaking around you. It is a brilliant feeling to have. And it's probably going to definitely be one of those things that we're going to miss at Bramley-Moore. We're going to not have the old style of stadium with its wooden seats, wooden chair. And when they score and everyone's bouncing and moving, you can feel everything around you. That's something that you're going to miss. And just, I'm going off topic here, but it was one I even felt in the concession area when I was getting a hot dog and a drink. I got the drink and everything. I turned around and started looking at the telly, and I heard the roar behind us. And I went, I feel like I watched the goal, and as anyone knows, it's like a 10-15 second delay on the video through to the live. So I saw the goal whilst they were still cheering, and it was a brilliant goal from Harrison. Basically, corner came in, keeper brought it out, came out to Mikolenko, he put it in again, keeper put it out again. Harrison got a foot on it and just lobbed the keeper underside of the bar into the net. Absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant first goal. You could not complain about it in the slightest. But yeah, going into halftime, we were very high in spirits and everything, and we were playing extremely well. Everyone was playing their part. Calvert-Lewin did well. I was gutted that he wasn't able to actually get himself on the score sheet. He had a couple of opportunities to win and miss. But as a whole, he was playing really well. So what he was doing is he was playing as a striker, his usual role, but he was also bringing it back as a midfielder as well. So he was playing like a number 9 as well as an ad hoc number 10. Likewise to Corey, he was pretty much doing the opposite of it. He was playing as number 10, but becoming an ad hoc number 9 when needs be. Our width were playing well. McNeil did well. Harrison did well. Everyone in that first half just played their role to perfection. Could not be any happier for them. Sorry. Yeah, coming into the second half, it was pretty much second verse, same as the first sort of thing. So we were putting the pressure on them still. We were doing everything we could. We were running our absolute legs off. Now, this is probably one of my only criticisms about the game, and it's not even about the players. It's more about Sean Dyche as a whole. When he sees a game going well, he doesn't like to switch things up. But that can also be a bit of a double-edged sword. Now, we were playing well, but we were also getting tired. It was a very warm day that day, and you could see that the fatigue was starting to kick in later on into the game. And when he started making substitutions, it was a bit of an interesting one. So he brought off... Who did he bring off? I'm trying to remember who he brought off. I think he brought... Was it Harrison? He brought someone off for Nathan Patterson, but the thing was, he brought a midfielder off for a defender, which was a bit of a strange one. I would have done Ashley Young for Patterson, a like-for-like sort of player, because then Patterson could have played a little bit more further up the field and actually had like a bit of a lap and play with Harrison or even McNeil, depends on what side they were on at the time, because the two of them were interchanging as the game went on. But you know what? I'm not going to complain. As I said, the only thing I've critiqued at the moment is more down to the fact that Sean Dyche isn't making changes when he should be. At half-time, we were playing really well, yes, but with it being a warm day, I think he should have taken into consideration a couple of the older players, so like Ashley Young and all them. He should have turned around and went, right, you guys are playing really well at the moment, but I'm going to switch up a little bit. We're going to bring Nathan Patterson on. Or, if he wants to change it around a bit and change formations a little bit, he could have said to Ashley Young, we're going to become a part of a back three, and we're going to have two wing backs. So Mikolenko is going to become the left wing back. I'm going to bring Patterson on as a right wing back and say, give James Garner, for argument's sake. James Garner, you're going to come off, mate. You're going to sit back. And from there, McNeil and Harrison, you guys are going to come in a little bit. And we're going to try and compact the game in a little bit. But you are still going to try and utilize the width whenever possible. Do something like that. That's how I would do it myself if I was in that situation. Now, bear in mind, I'm not a manager. My people skills are terrible, I'll be honest. So, me as a manager, I'll be absolutely terrible. But when it comes down to it, these are the sorts of things we really need to be doing, especially with players and everything getting fatigued. And when you start getting fatigued, you start making mistakes, injuries start happening. Now, Ashley Young, in that game, near the end, around the midway of the second half, he did actually go down and he had a bit of a groin pull from the looks of things, but he still plays on. So kudos to him for doing that, but I hope that isn't something that's going to come back to bite him later on down the line when, let's say, the international break's over and he's having to pull himself up and say, no, I'm not good for this one. My groin is acting up from when we played Bournemouth. But yeah, over the course of the second half, we really did absolutely thrash them left, right and centre. We were just unfortunate not to get a couple more goals. So what has happened is we were bringing it down the right wing, and I think it was Harrison tried to cut inside and got spun around and brought down. Bournemouth player cleared it out and tried to bring it out to the left wing, where Onana met their player and pretty much done the exact same thing to their player. Now, the referee couldn't blow up because he didn't blow up for Harrison, so we were able to capitalise on that, bring it down the wing, and came into the box where Harrison tried to get a head on it. It got deflected off one of the Bournemouth players, to which Decore just absolutely put a screamer in. It was a great goal for him. I'm gutted for Harrison just for the fact that he wasn't able to actually get another goal for that one. Because he played his absolute socks off. Everyone on that field played their socks off. They played to their strengths. They showed very little weakness. We played how we should be playing. And I hope there's more of that to come, because the way Everton played there was just spot on. Everyone played, as I said, everyone played their part. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again because I'm really happy with how Everton played that today. Well, yesterday, now. Sorry. But Pickford had a very quiet game in all honesty. Did decent distribution. Wasn't really playing it much out the back, which is good, because I just feel when you play out the back, you really have to have some absolute world-class defenders and midfielders for that, because a decent player will press on that. If they see you playing out the back a lot, they'll press on that, hope that you make a mistake, and just keep at you until you do make a mistake and they get away with the ball. So I like seeing him bringing it upfield towards midfield or even towards the front line. Doing that sort of stuff is great. I want to see more of that in all honesty. I enjoy seeing him playing long balls, even though sometimes he does actually knock it out for a throw, which, to be honest, is part and parcel. And the whole risk and reward thing of playing that sort of thing. But yeah, in regards to the backline, Mykolenko had a solid game. Branthwaite, again, absolutely playing world class. He's not letting anyone past him. He's doing everything in his power. I cannot wait to see how he develops over the course of the coming year. And the fact that he's just signed a new contract is even better. So good on you, lad. Tarkowski, again, he is Captain Fantastic. He is playing his role really well. He's talking to that backline. He's talking to the midfield as well. He is commanding from them. And he's doing well. He barely puts a foot wrong in most games. And it's unfortunate when he does make a mistake, because when he does, it does stand out quite badly, because normally he doesn't. Ashley Young, for his age, he is an absolutely brilliant player. I cannot fault him when he plays well. He is 38 years old, and he is playing like someone who is in their late 20s, in all honesty. The fact that he is 38, I would like to see his birth certificate, because I've got a feeling, in all honesty, that he's aging like one of those Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z. He's going to be in his prime all the way up until he's about 70 or 80, and then all of a sudden you're just going to see him age like milk. He's a scary, scary player, I'll be honest. Oh, sorry, I need my coffee. I got this off Amazon. 13 quid. It's very similar to the Everton ones. If anyone's had last season's Everton membership, the ads are very similar one to this, but this actually has more. So there's more caffeine. But yeah, now, so watching the game today, it was kind of like a 4-1-4-1 sort of formation. So Onana, he was playing as number 6. Solid. He had a 10 out of 10 performance yesterday. Didn't really put too much of a foot wrong. He was great with the distribution. He was decent with the aerial duels. He was unfortunate not to score. He had a moment where he could have put it right into the corner. And unfortunately, as he was going down, he got the tap on the ball and put it a little bit wide. And one of the Bournemouth players did actually rake his bloody studs across his foot. So hopefully he's not too badly injured. I mean, you know what? I hope he does well in the international break as well. Because I think when he comes back off the international break with a nice little high bit of confidence, it shows in his gameplay. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to go over to the wide right. So Harrison, again, another 10 out of 10 day for him. Played well. Someone actually mentioned this. And when I look back on the game, I do agree with them. He had a very Leighton Baines-esque run about him. So he starts out wide and he cuts suddenly inside. So that could be something we could be trying to utilize a little bit more, especially with him being on the right wing. So if, let's say for argument's sake, we have a 4-4-2 or a 4-1-4-1, where it's Patterson on the right, I do think him and Patterson would be a decent combo together, especially if they're able to communicate and get the overlap and run. Them two would become the new Baines and Pienaar. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to think about it while I'm talking about it, so if I'm stumbling a little bit, apologies. But yeah, him and Patterson going up that right wing will be something great. Now, if only we can get that communication between Mykolenko and McNeil, I think the wings could become one of our most dangerous features, just to the fact that we could actually cross it from one side to the other, and the wing from start to finish is just going to keep that possession. They get the movement, they're nice and quick, and they're accurate. But only time will tell with that one. Now, coming in now, so you've got, let's see, we had Harrison, Garner. There we go. James Garner. Solid player, really good. He's playing as number 8 today, and he did an absolutely great job as number 8. He was able to move the ball from box to box. He was getting his passes. He was doing his runs. He got a great shot off, and he was hungry for the goals as well. Anytime he saw an opportunity to have a crack at it, he was having a crack at it. I can't wait to see how a lot of these players are young as well, bear in mind. So the likes of Harrison, Onana, Garner, Branthwaite. These lads are still very young. They're only early to mid-20s, most of them. So they're slowly coming into their prime. Once they get to their prime, these are going to be some world-class players in their own right, especially if we are able to develop them a lot more. But the only way we can do that is by getting decent consistency going, good coaching going, and trying to bring their talents out. We can't be putting them into the wrong position, because that messes with confidence. It messes with their ability. So James Garner needs to be playing a lot more centrally. We cannot be putting him out on the wides anymore. We need to keep him central. Right. So we're on to now Decore. So Decore had a decent game today. I would say out of a lot of them, he's one of the ones who needs to sort of try and work on his play a little bit more. So he is a really good player. He's got a really good run about him. He's got a great shot about him. His passing, though, needs work. Don't get me wrong on this one, brilliant physical player. Got a great sight about him, but his passing is, let's say everything else is like 8 out of 10. His passing is the 6 out of 10. It's the weakest point about him. And we need to try and find a way to either address it or work around it. Whether we have him a little bit more further upfield, so being an extremely high number 10 alongside the number 9, that could be a potential option, but he needs to be a lot more conscious on his passes, because if he does do a pass, if it gets to the player, it's probably in a situation where it disrupts the play a little bit. It's not moving with the flow of it. He's not putting it forward to them to the point where they can move onto it and go. It's normally directly to them, and they've got to stop and then go, rather than him just getting it, passing it, and they're still moving with it. So that's a little bit of a disruption. Either that, or it just gets taken out of their hands and onto the possession of the opposition. Possession of opposition. Try that one 5 times fast. But yeah, he's the only one I think who needs it to sort of try and work with a little bit. And I think while we got the international break, that could be something that one of the coaches or even Sean Dyche can say, right, watching your game, mate, you're phenomenal. We love you. We love your runs. We love your goals and everything. Let's get that passing to the next level and work with it. I mean, a little bit of one-on-one with that would be great if we have someone there who's actually specialised with progressive passing. But yeah, on to McNeil now. So McNeil had a great game. I would say, again, a very similar one with Decore. He had a great game, but there are areas that he could improve on significantly. So in his runs today, he was getting a little bit crowded out, which is no fault of his own. But in all honesty, he needs to try and release that pass just a little bit quicker. He's had a couple of moments there where he was doing runs, and what ends up happening is he got crowded out by about 2 or 3 Bournemouth players. He wasn't able to find the pass, and either he would just twat it into the Bournemouth player and hope it goes out for a throw-in or a corner, or he would somehow manage to find another player, which is good on him. But the only thing with him is he is so left-footed. I've said this thousands of times, and I'm going to say it millions more times. He is so left-footed that it's just really, really difficult to utilize him in a more effective way. I mean, in all honesty, I think McNeil might have been probably one of them players I would have been tempted to swap out with Danjuma. I would have said, right, they're swarming you, mate. We're not going to be able to utilize you too well. We're going to swap you. And then in the next game, maybe put him as a right winger rather than as a left winger. I mean, granted, that means he's had to swap and change with Harrison. But that's one of them. I think Harrison would do well either side of the midfield, and shut up, phone. But we have to work with it with each game. In regards to McNeil, though, work with his right. He needs to get more work done with his right foot, because his left foot at the moment is 10 out of 10, but his right is basically a 0. He doesn't use it at all. He uses everything he can in his little book of tricks for the left, but he needs to start utilising his right more, because players now can read him like an open book. He's basically, when they see him with the ball, they're like, right, keep him on his right. Make it as hard as possible for him to move to his left onto his strong foot. And it's going to end up getting to the point where he's just going to get drowned out of the game. He's going to get basically pushed out of the game and left onto the sideline. And I don't want that to happen for him, because he's got an absolutely brilliant shot about him. He's got a great cross, and he's got great passes about him as well. His movement, his knowledge of the game is Premier League standard, but his right is just not even Sunday League. But yeah, now then, I'm going to talk about Calvert-Lewin. Now, as I said, he was unfortunate not to get a goal. He was unfortunate not to get assists or anything like that today. He just didn't really get too much in that regard. But his positioning, his movement, and his understanding of the game today was absolutely spot on. He was able to move around that field. He was able to distract their defenders enough so that he could actually create openings for other players, and that was really good of him to do that. He knew exactly what was going on. He knew where the weak points of Bournemouth were, and he exploited them to the best extent. He was just really unfortunate not to score. I mean, it would have been great, because that would have been his 50th goal for Everton in the Premier League if he would have scored. And, well, let's be honest, there's a lot more games coming, so that 50th goal is inevitable. We just need him to try and get himself more on the end product. But in all honesty, today he played great. He was basically an extra number 10 today, whereas Decore was more the number 9 than the number 10. But yeah. Now, regarding these substitutes, so we had Patterson come on, we had Chimiti come on, and we had Beto come on. So all three of them actually played key roles near the end of the game. So Patterson was actually getting great crosses in, and Youssef Chimiti and Beto came close to scoring themselves. Now, Chimiti is a little bag of tricks. He's basically the way they could have done it. If they wanted to do like-for-like swaps, you basically take Ashley Young out for Nathan Patterson, you would take Calvert-Lewin out for Youssef Chimiti, and you would take Decore out for Beto. That's how you would probably do it if you wanted to do like-for-like, because all three of them are very similar to their counterparts. Oh, me, I got a tickle in the throat. Sorry about that. But yeah, the three of them really played well near the end of the game. Unfortunately, just weren't given enough time. I mean, Chimiti only had 5 minutes pretty much. He came on at stoppage time. We had 5 minutes stoppage time, and he came on pretty much when they announced that. Beto came on around the 80th minute mark, and Patterson came on around the 75th minute mark. I would say my only gripe, in all honesty, is Beto himself. When we played against Doncaster, his physicality and his speed was just night and day difference. Now, I'm hoping he's able to he starts bringing that more into the Premier League, but I'll be honest, I think, in all honesty, it's going to be one of those situations where comparing it from a League 2 side all the way up to the Premier League it's basically comparing a mountain to a molehill sort of thing. I do think once, as more games come in, he will start to shine a lot more, but I'm going to see him more as an assisting striker rather than the main striker itself, and it will more likely be to Calvert-Lewin. So a lot of people are saying we need to see the 4-4-2 that Sean Dyche loves so much. In all honesty, though, looking at the team we've got right now and the way they play, it's not exactly suited to a 4-4-2 role, which is unfortunate, really, because as most people say, it's Dyche's style of play and that's how he plays. So for him to, have to play 4-1-4-1 probably hurts him, just for the fact that he's saying, I'm not 100% familiar with this role. I don't like this formation wholly. It's a problem in that regards, but hopefully with time, we're going to be able to bring that more apparent, and we're able to convert a lot of these players into that sort of formation, and we can get better results and better performances over the course of time. Now, don't get me wrong, we are playing well at the moment, and it's just a shame that, our results just aren't reflecting that. But hopefully, after this international break, this could be the turning point. I mean, we've had a great game against Bournemouth, and we need to go to the other lot at Anfield and hopefully make them sweat. But yeah, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate you showing support to this category of video. If you like it, you know what to do. Just hit that like button down below. If you want to suggest anything to me, whether it be getting a script, putting some bullet points or something like that, because I rambled too much, put it in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, how's it going? I do this as well as some drone footage as well. If you like the drone footage and you've just ran into this, why not give this a little bit of support? Because just bear in mind, Bramley Moore will be complete within the next year to 2 years at the most. And when that's done, there's going to be no more drone footage. And unfortunately, when there's no more drone footage, I don't want this channel to die. I really don't. It's something I've loved doing for so long now. And I want to keep this going for as long as possible. So if you're able to give these videos support as well as the drone footage, that is massively appreciated, because once the drone's done, I want to be able to transition over to this, because you're going to see pre-match stuff, you're going to see post-match stuff, you're going to see transfer rumours, formations, just random stuff left, right and centre. I mean, as you guys know, I do a lot of stuff with the Rainbow Toffees, so you'll probably even see some of that stuff coming into this as well. But in any case, guys, I would like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy the international break, and up the fucking Toffees. Come on.